Hello and welcome. It's another upload from Legoland Windsor. This time it is all about the beautiful Mythica section. Now there is a lot to soak in and have a look at with regards to all of the models and the rides, but if you are hungry on the day of me filming this, I'm afraid there's nowhere to eat inside this section. You'd have to grab yourself an all-you-can-eat pizza buffet from Heart Lake City, which is directly behind me. Now as we start looking at these amazing models, it was quite interesting because there was a Wi-Fi team around. So I am assuming that Legoland Windsor soon enough will have Wi-Fi in its parks, like a lot of the other parks around the world already do, and it is extremely handy if you are a foreigner and you do not have internet access to your data package to be able to come to a theme park and have Wi-Fi, as I experienced recently at Singapore, because the UK SIM card does not work in Singapore and you cannot get data coverage at all. But if you just connect to the Wi-Fi, it just means that you've got contact with the outside world and you don't have to wait until you get back to your hotel room. So hopefully that is something that they are actually in the process of doing. So if you spot that there is now Wi-Fi available at Legoland, then obviously please do let me know in the comments below. But as we are now about to be having a look at some of the larger models, starting off with this thing just here, as he is stuffing his face with all of the chips. Like I said, the actual Hungry Troll, which is the fish and chip shop, was shut, and then Beastly Bites a little bit further down was also closed, but it is midweek and the park was pretty much empty apart from the Duplo section. So it's all well and good that all these eateries were closed. There was still plenty of places to eat if you wanted to, and of course there was little vending machines if you needed to grab yourself something quick and easy. Now we are literally just like a highlight tour of what this park has to offer with regards. You can see the rides in the background. You can push the button and the people will get soaking wet on the ride, and of course we've got these massive models as well, which do look very, very impressive indeed. And then as we pan around, we've got the little play area in the slides just to the left hand side, and all of these models are still looking brand new and fresh, even though now they are a couple of years old, and obviously they are not undercover. I think they've weathered very, very well, and all the colour is still very, very bright and vibrant, so they look fantastic. So if you are getting a Mythica at your local Legoland sooner rather than later, you're going to be in for a treat, because the rides are good and the models, if you've noticed, are all brick built. They're not the big plastic injection molds like you got stuck with in the Lego Movie World section. This has lots and lots of bricks, and I much prefer a brick built model over the bigger plastic ones. But then at the same time, it doesn't really matter that we've got them. Now that is the floor, but I'm not taking that out because I didn't take it out of the highlight reel either, so I'm just too lazy. And then we are moving on to Hydra's Challenge. So the three-headed dragon was obviously a Hydra, and then Hydra's Challenge is directly behind that, is what used to be bright yellow and the squid races, I do believe. So Mythica has 2 ways in and 2 ways out. This is the other end of the land itself, and if you keep going down in a straight line, it will then lead you to where all the dinosaurs are, and then you keep wrapping around that amazing lake. You've got the different hotels. You've got the actual main Legoland hotel to the right hand side, and then directly over the lake is actually the Legoland Castle Hotel as well. And then if I keep panning around, there be the dinosaurs just there, and there is another Beastly Bites, I think, which is another thing that was closed. But I do believe we're about to turn left and we're about to go down the Magical Forest, which is a really, really nice looking thing. So we've got all of these amazing and wonderful creatures and lots of Lego models to have a look at. You can download the QR code, the QR scanner from the Lego website, and then it's like an interactive thing that you can do. This is a great addition to the park, I think, because you can just get away from the hustle and bustle, and then you go into a slightly more calmer area, and then you wrap it back round in. So obviously if you're a fan of all these lights and you're clever with photography and videography, you could get some really, really nice photos underneath this tunnel if you wanted to. And obviously when you come out the tunnel the other end, well, that is where we then start to tuck into all of the different sections of the other models. And of course, hopefully in the near future, you will be able to buy these models as well, because everything that we're having a look at is included in the big 4D ride. But now the shrubbery has been there a year or two. There's a lot more greenery than what there once was, and I think it does look a lot better. It looks a lot more fuller. I just hope for either Halloween or Christmas they will add in extra lighting, because when I went down there in 2022, that was something that they did not do. But this is a perfect section to walk around, get some nice photos, and just have a little bit of colourful uplighting like they add in onto all of the Miniland section, even if it's just like the purples and the oranges. And then we will move on from where we are into the next zone. So each thing is zoned. Now I did notice that there was a couple of differences. There used to be some areas that you could crawl underneath. Now you can no longer do that. They have blocked it off, and not only have they blocked crawling spaces at Windsor, there was some crawling spaces at the Miniland section in Dubai that has now also been closed off, which is a real shame, because there were some really nice things that you could see within inside that section, and now you can't. But with regards to shutting these off, it kind of makes sense, because the kids were just getting stampled on by the... Well, it didn't make any sense at all, because you used to crawl through that, come out the other side, people used to stand there, the kids used to get stuck in there, because it was one way in, one way out. But now they've just got these nice little blocker bits on. They've added on a nice little bit of effectiveness, so at least they've done it that way. And I think that actually does make sense, to be honest. And now, obviously, we've got this... Well, you can make it up as we go along. Is it a rhino, a flowery rhino? I think that's what it's supposed to be. There is a butterfly snail somewhere as well. Yes, I did say butterfly snail. That is a flower horns, is what that is. And then there's an egg down at the bottom. There is some snails going up just there in butterfly form as well. You've got to look absolutely everywhere. There's models all over the place, directly in front of you, on the ground and above. So you just have to take your time and have a look round. I thought that spun. That made me look stupid, because it didn't. And then you have got that nice thing just behind it, when you've got all the shrubbery and everything just over the top. And then again, you can see you've got these weird and wonderful little creatures just climbing up that little bit of wood. And then on the other side, you've got even more of them. So they are dotted all over the place. You've got the big Venus flytrap, I think, so you can see how they've done that one. That does look pretty effective, actually, so that does look very, very smart. There we go. That is a duck snail. So that is something, again, slightly different. So it's, you can make up the names for these as we go along. But this is what Mythica is all about. It's just all made up creatures. That does look, I think, very, very effective indeed. Now, as we're going through, you can see you've got all of these different bits and pieces going on with regards to all the nice fancy lighting on the inside. It does look very, very effective with all the different colouring on there. And also you can just push the buttons and you can crack on. Now, there is a crab. Yes, that is a crab in a volcano. And I'm not too sure what the face of that is supposed to be, but it does look pretty cool with this massive hairpiece. And then I'm pretty sure we've got a load of different dragons up in the tree with some eggs and different bits and pieces like that. So there is a lot going on within this section. This is probably one of the better additions that Legoland Windsor has done in a good while, but obviously now they have just added in the dueling roller coaster for the sort of like the minifigure raceway. So it'd be very, very interesting if they open up a shop that way solely for minifigures, because that would make sense. And then they can just have like a whole minifigure section, because obviously people like minifigures. But we will see what the future holds for that section of the park, because they added on a lot to Mythica over 2 separate years, and they did a very, very good job in doing it. So hopefully they'll do the exact same sort of scale and the amount of detail over by the new ride as well. Now, if you are a fan of Mythica, again, let me know in that comment section below. And have you bought the Legoland exclusive Mythica set? Because you can only pick these sets up from the different Legoland parks around the world, and even if your Legoland does not have a Mythica, you can still buy the exclusive I think it's limited edition set, because they're not the longest of runs, so it'll be out for a couple of years, and then I would imagine it will be replaced by something else. Now, this is pretty cool with the TVs, because you've got the big dragon that flies in front of you, then it will go over the top of your head, and then you'll hear the flames and all of that kind of thing as it flies about. So it is a very cool looking thing. It's a very, very effective walk through, and then as we continue to walk through, we then leave the calm and then we go straight back into the busy section of Mythica, and we'll check out the last couple of rides. But guys, I really am starting to run out of time, so if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, there is a secondary channel now running, which is Global Life Travels, which is all about the other theme parks around the world that I visited, including the different hotels and things like that. So if you want to see non-Lego related tours to different things and adventures, head over to that channel, because it is linked to the different Legoland adventures that I do. So I do the Legoland stuff, and of course I hit Universal, Disney, and all sorts of other weird and wonderful places as I go. But you can see that that is the AR, so you download the bits and pieces, you scan it, and it will give you different bits and pieces to do. So you do need your phone for that. If you're a fan of that kind of thing, then obviously give it a go. It's something I've never ever done yet. I thought it was just a QR code, but you actually have to do it through the Legoland app. And obviously that lion is massive, as is this ride. This is a really, really nice ride. It's very similar to Emmett's Couch Ride for the Lego movie with regards to how the actual ride works, but obviously nothing on the screen is anything like it whatsoever, because we have all these amazing mythical creatures. And you can see, I think what we'll do is we actually go into the Flight of the Lion Sky just to have a look at some of the models that are on the inside, and then we are done. So you can see what this looks like on the inside of the queue line. You've got all these bigger models just on the inside just here, and you can see just how big the queue line is. Now, weirdly, there is a game you can play on your phone. I thought this was something that Lego were trying to get away from, and it looks like they've just added in something inside this queue line. I'm not 100% sure the reason why they've done that, but I don't know if they've taken the bricks away and they've just moved them somewhere else. But here, so you've just got to scan your QR code and you can play a Lego Mythica game as you wait. It is what it is. If it keeps the little ones entertained, it keeps the little ones entertained. But guys, I think that is it, and I am done. So I'll say it one more time. If you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll see you next one. Ta-da.